Well, looks like we might be getting our very first goalkeeper evolution. Now, it's not confirmed, but we have some context clues we can read into here that kind of suggest that it's probably coming out, and it maybe isn't the goalkeeper evo you all with themed teams were hoping for. Looks like in true shapeshifter fashion, you can turn him into a striker, so we'll go and talk about that. We do have some shapeshifter team 2 leaks, and just promo cards for the team, so they look cool, but hard to say other than that, really. EA's already begun the marketing for FC26, which is I feel like it's the earliest they've ever done this. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to MMOXP.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. We'll get into everything, and thank you all for joining and watching today. Timo Werner, SBC, I mean, it's kind of funny just thinking about how this is right now with the way this game is set up, and you wonder why it's not very popular at the moment. Well, you get a card like Timo Werner that it's like, how much better can this card realistically be unless it has a 4th playstyle plus, right? But the stats are kind of insane, and it just doesn't matter. Like, this card in the market would probably be, how much do you think this card in the market, if it just came out, how much would it be? Like, you tell me, would it be more than 200k? It's a 500k SBC. It just kind of shows what the bigger issue has been a little bit, and just play styles, of course, and how important they are now. So curious to know if next year they continue to go down the same route of play styles, gatekeep play styles, gatekeep roles, right? That's going to be one of the bigger things that will keep people on the game to me or drive people away, because one more year of this system where it ends up like this again, and people are just not going to take it anymore. But okay, yeah, as we know, yesterday, the exchanges came out, right? And it seems so far, I was grinding through more of them today. It seems so far, about 24 hours later, that it does seem sort of infinitely repeatable. So I do want to give EA their credit for that. Now, of course, we're not talking about like, oh, the cards and packs aren't very good, or we're talking about the power curve problem where you pack a good card and he's 20k, whatever, right? Ignoring that stuff, it just seems like the grind itself is decent. Now, of course, I still think there's things that point towards it being worse for next year, which is always a slight concern because, like I said yesterday, FIFA 20 League SBCs were pretty decent. Like, they weren't as good as the last year's, but they were pretty good, and that was a sign of things to come, right? So you worry about that, but we have a day and 15 hours here, and I'm very curious to know if we just get rid of them entirely. I think that might happen, guys. I do worry that because this didn't come out in its own, like, bracket on top, right? Doesn't say upgrades, challenges, exchanges, icons, or something like that. This is in the upgrade section, so I do kind of wonder if it was going to be permanent, that it would have its own tile, basically, but right now it doesn't. So maybe that suggests that we will actually have it go away for a couple days and have it come back on every Monday, right? Or Tuesday, whatever it was. Yeah, Tuesday, right? There's a chance that's the case. I would really hope not, but I do want to leave that on the table in case that does happen. But okay, we're going to begin with this on the leaks and news part of the video. So there's this new card design added, and that's gloves to goals icon. Now, this was actually leaked, like I want to say a week ago or so, where we saw that this plus greats of the game would be coming out. And now we got this card design added into the code, and that's gloves to goals icon. Now, it's the exact same design as the Shapeshifters icon, right? So to me, this kind of indicates one thing, and that's that this is going to be an evolution type thing. And gloves to goal icon, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself. It's a goalkeeper to striker icon, right? And also in the Shapeshifters blog post that EA had here, they say over the next few weeks, keep an eye out during the 2nd week of Shapeshifters, so that's this Friday, for 2 new story-driven evos. So I think it's pretty obvious to put this stuff together and say, okay, gloves to goal icon is going to be an evolution, and gloves to goal means to me the first goalkeeper evolution, right? Turning him into a striker. I think they've been avoiding goalkeeper evos because of the whole everyone has a 6'10 goalkeeper situation. So a goalkeeper to striker makes more sense. And of course, fits with the theme of the promo. Now, how much do you guys want that? You know, that's up for debate. If I had to guess, that's what this is going to be. Now, the only thing going against that is maybe there's no evolution design here, or like, not design, sorry, no logo, which sometimes you do see on these Evo type cards. Sometimes you don't, though. So it's not a dead giveaway. It's for sure an Evo, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that it will be. But also could be an indication against this as well is that how does a card change from like the face stats of the diving, reflexes, handling, etc., to then put him into an evolution and change it to pace, shooting, passing, dribbling? Like, that would be something that I feel like would be kind of difficult. So what I think might actually happen here is that you won't be able to just pick any card, and it's going to be a Future Stars Evo situation where you pick from a group of them. I think that's going to be the case here. I don't know how they go from those face stats to the other card type face stats just through regular evolutions. So I'm just speculating, obviously, but that's my best guess as to what we are going to see. But no matter what, gloves to goals icons, the exact same design as the Shapeshifters icons, which wouldn't make any sense for it to be just a Shapeshifters card. There will be some sort of difference, some sort of flair to it, and I think that's what it's going to be. And you guys have no idea, okay? You have, if you weren't around for this time, which I'm sure most of you were, you have no idea how good this card was. This is one of the best strikers, I think, in FIFA history, maybe. And it would be funny to see Helmet Petr back at striker. He'll make some Shapeshifters team, is my guess, but it would be funny to see him and Milinkovic-Savic back just for the memes, right? Just because they gave a generation of FIFA fans PTSD, and yeah, we will see. So, okay, we've got some Shapeshifter stuff to talk about, some more leaks for Team 2 here. This loading screen came out today. If you guys didn't see it, it's confirmed that this left mid 98 is going to be Johan Cruyff. It's kind of obvious, but it's going to be Johan Cruyff. And also, it's the first card in packs with 5 playstyle pluses, so you won't be affording this card. The playstyle pluses here are Finesse, Incisive, Tiki-Taka, Technical, and Rapid. Yeah, okay. And this striker is going to be Alexia Putellas. That's now been confirmed. Striker Putellas with Finesse Shot, Rapid, First Touch, and Low Driven. 95 Shot, 96 Dribbling. And then this striker over here is Eden Hazard. Striker Hazard with Finesse Shot, Technical, Press Proven, and Low Driven. All 5-star, 5-star. We've got some more here, and this, whoa, okay. I mean, the stats on this card are a joke. They won't be this good, but Teo Hernandez is going to be a Shapeshifters, which I'm curious to know what position he's going to be. The whole card is purely a prediction, so even the position, but yeah, imagine a DM Teo. I mean, that's just like a DM Mendy. I mean, that would be horrible to go against that card, but Teo has been confirmed to be in the team. Next up, we have Striker Ronaldinho. Yeah, once again, this card's going to be absolutely insane. You won't be able to afford him, I'm sure, but Striker Ronaldinho is usually the most like expensive card in the game when he comes out. It's him in R9, obviously, but if it looks anything close to this, he will be the best. He might be the best player in the entire game, but don't look too close because you're not getting this card. But it's cool to look at, that's for sure. Next up, Striker Valverde, stats prediction, but the position is not, so he will be a striker. And yeah, hard to say what he's going to look like, but it seems like so far a lot of really good Shapeshifters Team 2 cards, and usually they make Team 2 and 3 of these promos if they're longer, like the better teams. They tend to do that, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that same thing happening here. We got like, I think we have one more. I wouldn't be surprised to see them do that here, and we still got more of them. We've got Bukayo Saka next, and he's all his official stats as well. He's coming as a cam, and the playstyle pluses are confirmed. Finesse, Technical, Tiki-Taka, Incisive, terrific stats, all above 90s for a cam. So I'm guessing he'll be able to play center mid in there as well, and just a crazy card, actually. But I think this is the only card that we have official stats for, and he's 97. It's not even the full 98 that some cards can get here. Let's keep moving on. We've got center mid Alexander Isak, which... okay, that's interesting. Stats prediction once again, but center mid Isak. What do you think about that one? His height is great, right? 6'4" or something like that. So that makes perfect sense for a center mid. And yeah, kind of goes with what we were saying earlier. Like, this team is probably going to be better than Team 1, which I I kind of would hope so. Not to be annoyingly negative, but it could be a little bit better. And last one we have not seen yet is Rodri down here. So we've seen all the rest of these, but then Rodri we haven't seen any concept for yet, but he's on the way apparently. And we do not know what position he will get. So that's kind of all the leaks for Team 2 we've got right now. Let's actually go into this pack leak that we've got next year. And that's this leak right here. So some people thought this was like a really, really big deal. I'm slightly more sour on this than some people are because I think this will just simply be an SBC that's like the tradable Team of the Week upgrade. That's done like once a week or done something like that. We have a 91 plus tradable TOTS pack. So some people think like, okay, we'll get a repeatable tradable TOTS pack, or this might be an indication of an untradable TOTS pack coming in because they added the tradable Team of the Week upgrade along with an untradable Team of the Week upgrade, right? So then they have both of those. Maybe they add both the TOTS packs. There's a chance of that, definitely. I think this is probably going to be just a once a week thing. It's not like TOTS prices need to come down much, but they usually do this when TOTS are like fodder, and they were in previous years going for 30K, right? So every TOTS card was 30K, and you had to use many of them for SPCs and stuff like that. They would drop this to drop the prices a bit and add some more supply because they're not in packs anymore, but now they're all 10K anyway, so kind of interesting decision here. They're like, what, 13K? They're not quite 10K. They're like 13, 14, 15K. But I don't think it'll indicate anything huge is my guess. And also there's more pack leaks that were just kind of store stuff, so I won't really bother looking at these too much. If you want to look through here, you obviously can. But yeah, it's kind of like the somehow like hyped up pack leak that isn't probably deserving of that. All right, next up here, we already have EA teasing the cover of FC26 already. Yes, that's correct. I saw this Reddit content time today, and I thought to myself, like, damn, this seems kind of early this year. And I thought that was maybe just me, like, misremembering when they do this stuff, but I was like, this seems kind of early. There are a lot of replies, obviously, like, oh my god, we need Van Dijk as the cover, right? Donk says right here, you know, we need VVD as the cover, whatever, right? Who cares? But I was like, damn, seems kind of early. Then Witcher tweeted this out, and this was before the teaser today asking the community like, hey, who should be on the cover? There's also another tweet, which actually I can show you right now quickly. There's another tweet from EA right here. This was yesterday. Comment one new icon you to add to your future dream squad, right? So just trying to like get us ready for new icons, right? There are new icons coming next year. Don't forget. And also the cover star, get ready. The cover's coming. The teaser's coming. Aren't you coming? And then Witcher says here, this was before this tweet from today. Okay. Just starts with okay. Okay. Few moments around FC26 already. We may get a teaser in a few weeks. This year, EA has a hard task on making hype for the game. Hashtag FC26. So I think we know from what happened last year, they feel like they must not have marketed the game well enough because people did not transition to the new one as much as they thought they would. So either maybe marketing it as well as they thought they could, or just hyping it up in general, which I guess is just marketing it up, right? But I think we're going to see a lot of teaser stuff in the coming like even weeks here for FC26 because I think they can't afford to have a similar amount of people not come to next year's game as they did from last year's game to this year's game. So we're going to see a lot of, I think, pre-order bonuses. We're going to see icons probably leaked by EA before anyone even leaks them, if I had to guess. Say they got Arjen Robben's license. If I had to guess, in 2 weeks, they might tweet out like, hey, Robben's in next year's game, guys. Like, it's going to be a much different year to me in terms of the things we see for next year's game than in previous years. Usually it's not till end of July, early August for Ultimate Team stuff. I think that will not be the case this year. And obviously Witcher knows his shit. And this was 3 hours before that tweet even came out today. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of FC26 news coming up over the next couple months. I shouldn't say next couple months, sorry. Over the next couple of weeks even, into like a month or so earlier than usual. And this would also make sense to me that they're trying to make things better for next year. This might be pure copium, okay? This might be just the ultimate of copium here, but what the fuck has happened to this game, obviously? The Penthes, the 6 p.m. content guys, like, yeah, they're phoning this shit in. Like, what? They're just passing time waiting. I think that's what they're doing, actually. What could be a strategy, if we want to go full conspiracy here, it could be a strategy of, like, let's actually make content worse this summer because that it inclines people to go to the next game more. That could be. I still think that's kind of bullshit if that was a genuine strategy. If that was their strategy, let alone if it actually is the case. I think that would be kind of bullshit. But yeah, it does seem strange, right? This is probably the worst summer FIFA I can remember. Trying not to be prisoner of the moment here, but it does feel like probably the worst in my time of being on YouTube for sure, which is I think since like the very beginning of FIFA 23, end of FIFA 22, this feels like the worst summer out of all of those ones easily. And then maybe you could say, I don't know, what year was bad for summer? FIFA 19, because the gameplay was still so bad, but that's a different like topic, different criticism, right? So I don't even know, but we're gonna see some shitty teasers. In 1 week from today, we see like an outline of the face that's the cover or something like that, and like the EA devs want you to be creaming your pants thinking about, oh my god, it's Van Dijk on the cover, and not, hey, have you fixed the fucking delay, assholes? You know, you won't be thinking about that. And I thought this tweet from Jake Foot Trading was kind of interesting. The distinction between icons and heroes, you know, should we have more distinctions here? Because, for example, we are just a few months away from Hazard and Fellaini being on the same tier of player list, hero. And putting it that way, you know, there's other ones too, like Yaya Toure and then Marwan Fellaini, right? Like, I think everybody would say that's disrespectful to Eden Hazard or Yaya Toure to be in the same player categorization as Marwan Fellaini. Not that Fellaini was a terrible player at all, but just we're talking like borderline legends here, which Fellaini, I think we can all agree, wasn't. So should there be like another distinction here of these kinds of players, a third distinction of like icons, heroes, and then club heroes, or something along those lines where it's more so players that are memorable maybe, but not maybe like legends, or like Marwan Fellaini or DeMarcus Beasley, let's say. Like DeMarcus Beasley was a good player, right? DeMarcus Beasley and Yaya Toure and Eden Hazard are light years apart, really, when you think about it, but they're in the same player categorization. So not that it even really matters, because like who gives a shit really about the categorization of players? But at the same time, you know, you do wonder if it'd be kind of cool to have 3 different ones. You wonder if you'd maybe be able to get more that way, more players, by doing 3 distinctions of former players that have retired now. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing to talk about. And guys, every day I see this shit, okay? Every day on Twitter, I'm seeing like, I'm never trusting the meta again. Konate's dog shit. People have no idea you need to put a goalkeeper basic on him. You can't leave him on basic. If you did not watch the last video we talked about this in, please put a goalkeeper basic on him. The stats are glitched. You got to put goalkeeper basic, and people still don't realize this. It's not their fault. It's EA's fault, but the word needs to spread more. And tell your friends, guys. Put the goalkeeper basic on Konate. Tell your family, tell your friends. But okay, market stuff. I think Shapeshifters Team 2 is going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be better than Team 1. If I had to guess here, I would actually not want to be in on Shapeshifters cards from the Team 1. I think like Griezmann, for example. Griezmann is a little more unique because he's always so good in FIFA that he holds a price because he's so good. But a 1.8 mil card, you know, we're going to get like 4 or 5 more cards that look somewhat like this. Maybe not 98 rated, but they'll be close to this. And just be aware of that. He'll probably go down a little bit. Not to say he'll tank, but he's probably going down a bit. And same thing here with, like I saw, where was he? Yeah, Marco Reus right here. Marco Reus. Like, we're going to see more of these kinds of cards that they're probably going to drop a little bit. So that's kind of what I would say there. And the TOTS cards, I'm still like, especially now that we've seen 91 plus tradable TOTS cards, like you want out of all of them, basically. You don't want to have any of them in your club if you want to like actually worry about making coins right now. If you want to have fun, just who cares and don't listen to me. But if you want to like save your coins still, I would say I'd be out. I wouldn't want to be in on Team 2. I think Team 2 is more likely to be a good buy than Team 1 is. Okay, let's read some of your comments now. We've got Doc and Rum who says this. I did a statistical analysis of Ozio's pack weight. Okay, compared to share plays he does with other accounts hitting rank 1 and opening store packs. Ozio has buffed pack weight, says Doc and Rum. I don't think he has a deal with EA or is conspiring behind the scenes. I do think EA is taking advantage of his influence to promote store packs. Now, if you have the data behind this, please send this to me because I'm actually very curious. But yeah, apparently a statistical analysis has shown that Ozio maybe has buffed pack weight. Most of you guys in the comments said yesterday that they probably have buffed his pack weight. I don't know how true that is. I mean, it would make sense, right? It obviously would make sense for them to advertise better packs, right? It would make a lot of sense. But are they doing it? I mean, you'd have to have a gigantic analysis of thousands of packs to have any like good enough sample size, really, which would be a huge undertaking, which nobody probably really wants to do. Because Doc and Rum, you might have like numbers on 50 packs or 100 packs at best, but that's like not enough of a sample size. Even though it might indicate something that might be true, it could be just not high enough of a sample size, right? And that's why it's so hard to judge these things, because it's like, how the hell do you get these numbers on thousands of packs opened, right? We've got Monkev. EA being scared that the game will be too good for us during this time of the year is crazy. Hey, EA, since when should the game not be too good? And this is a really strange thing to me. This might be a psychology thing, right? This might not, well, first of all, this might not even be a thing. EA might not do this. I think over the years, we've seen, I think EA do this. And that's, let's not make the summer too crazy because we want you to go to next year's game. So in that case, let's make the summer kind of more boring so that you're hyped up in 3 months' time for FC 26, right? I was like, does a rising tide not lift all ships? Like, I don't understand how you make a game worse, and that'll actually help here. I have an idea. What if we made the game terrible? Like, that's their idea? I mean, that sounds like such horseshit. Now, of course, they have psychologists that are on payroll that maybe are saying, like, that actually is human psychology. That's how this works. If that's the case, then sure, right? They listen to the psychologists, and that's all they do anyway, as is, so why not listen to them here? I kind of find it in my head, my initial thoughts, like, that's bullshit. Like, there's no way just making the game good doesn't help everybody out, including mostly yourself, right? Just making more money. I don't see how that doesn't actually help everybody out. Or maybe I'm just a big fucking dumbass. I was going to read this Yazzer comment, but Big Yar, here for my daily Occam's Razor content. Yeah. I don't think anybody else is doing FIFA content talking about Occam's and Hanlon's razors. I hope not, because the correlation in razors and getting bitches, right? Bitches and razors correlation it's negative, right? Don't talk about razors around the hose, okay? Don't do that. But right here, Yazer and Future Trunks, talking about how we need to address streamers that open with FC points again. And honestly, I would agree with you guys, right? I would fully agree with you that we need to do this, but we saw a person who is quite literally 25 times my size and run the FUT market do this, and he got fucking crucified for it because other creators went, no, you're a dumbass, actually, and I'm never stopping. This is my job, and it's not going to work. No, it won't work. Instead of trying it, they just went, actually, no, it won't work. Trust me, bro, it's not going to work. So we demonized it for like a couple months there, and now everyone's back again because they can, and they're making good money off that stuff, and that's why it's also extra hard. All these guys with share plays on store packs, I mean, that's what gets the most views in FIFA, guys. So there will always be an audience for that as long as it gets the most views, and they are, I can promise you, are making, thinking about how much all they have to do, right, is stream on Twitch. You stream on Twitch, you upload your Twitch VOD basically to YouTube, so it's just doubled the revenue. All those views can be then seen by advertisers, and like any brand deal, you'll have crazy views on. let alone the YouTube money itself. Like, they are making a fuck ton of money off of this, and that's why they're not going to stop. It's not because they don't really fully deep down believe that, yeah, no, I actually think this is okay. If they didn't think it was okay at all, most of them would not give a fuck, because they're making so much money. It's like, it's going to be, actually, my morals, when I'm making mid six figures, that probably doesn't really matter, right? That probably doesn't matter as much. Now, I'm being very cynical there, maybe even being too much, right? Maybe I'm being too bad faith there, but we've seen this happen before, and we're probably not going to see anything, is my guess, which is unfortunate, but I mean, this is the world we live in now, and only way this changes, I think, is if we don't see store packs anymore, which goes back to the government and cracking down on that, which could take years. So we're kind of stuck here. If I had to guess, we are kind of stuck in this point, but thank you guys all for joining and being here today. I appreciate you all so much. Love you all. Peace.